You can move clips in Pro Tools a couple of ways, either using the grabber tool, so you can go up here and click on the grabber tool, and that will give you the hand or the grabber tool icon, or you can select the smart tool, and this is what I usually do, which is this little icon on top of these three tools. And it gives you all three tools that you can utilize based on the position of your mouse relative to the clip. So if you are above the center line being right here, of a clip, you'll get the selector tool. If you're below the center line, it turns into the grabber tool. And if you're at the end or beginning of a clip, it gives you the trimmer tool. Okay, let's look at how each of these modes differ as we use the grabber tool to move a clip. If we just go down here and click in the slip mode, click on this clip and move it over here and place it in the middle of this additional clip, what happens is that Pro Tools cuts the audio on either side of that clip, places this clip in between those two. So if we move this clip, you can see now that there is a space where this clip was placed. If we take a larger clip and we drop it over the top of the smaller clip, then that clip winds up becoming deleted. You can see that clip is no longer there now. So I have to undo that to make that clip reappear. When a clip partially overlays another clip, that clip underneath is also trimmed and the clip that you're moving is placed on top. When you're in grid mode, Pro Tools acts similarly, except that each audio clip is constrained by the grid value you have selected. So we can take this particular clip and we could place it over the top of this clip. Again, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to delete that audio. We can take a larger clip and place it over a smaller clip, and again, it will delete the smaller clip. If we use this clip and just slightly overlay or place it over the top of the larger clip is trimmed, and so we get the full length of the smaller clip playing before we transition to this larger clip. You can also move clips easily in the spot mode. So F3 to go to spot mode. You could click on this and maybe we want this clip now to appear in measure 60. So 60, click enter. So when you're spotting a clip, you get the same basic result as when you are moving them in slip or grid mode. In this case, we've moved via spot mode. We've moved this clip to overlay this larger clip, and it's cut the edges just like it would in slip and or grid mode. The trim tool can be used to trim our audio. This is done by selecting the trim tool itself, either up here or by using the smart tool. In this case, I will go ahead and use the smart tool. And remember, as you come close to the edges of the audio clip, you'll see the trim tool icon. Now, if you just click on that and move it, it will trim that audio. You can see I'm trimming the edges of my audio. Now, depending on the mode that you're in, slip or grid, it's going to trim it either freely if you're in slip mode like now, or if you're in grid mode, it will trim it based on the grid value you have selected up here. You can also use what's called the trim tool. Say, for example, we want to trim everything except that material. Okay, we could certainly go and do this, trim there, and then trim, back to here. We can also use the trim clip command. So we can go up here after we've made our selection and say trim clip to selection. You can see that has a shortcut as well, Command T. So if I click on that, it's going to delete everything over here and everything over here. So trim clip to selection, and you can see it's deleted all that additional material. You can also use the Option modifier key to change the direction of the trim tool. So if I have the trim tool selected, and let's say, for example, I just want this piece of audio from here over to right there. Well, the only way I can get that is by going like this. But if we use the Option modifier key, it changes the direction of the trim tool. So you can see every time I press and release the Option key, it'll change the direction. So in that case, we could go right to where we wanted, hit the Option key, and then press our mouse. And it will trim our audio to the desired length. So remember that Option modifier key changes the direction of the trim tool. Nudging is the function by which we can move an audio clip a specified amount. We can nudge an audio clip based on any of the timeline rulers in Pro Tools. If we go over here and click the nudge value pop-up selector, you'll see that it has very similar layout to the grid value pop-up selector. So we could set to nudge our audio by beats and bars, or minutes and seconds, or any other timeline ruler. You can also set it to follow the main time scale. So now it's going to operate in beats and bars. If I click here, it's going to operate in seconds. Generally speaking, I prefer using a sample-based nudge value because I can change that real quick, and it's very small increments. However, there may be times where you want to nudge your audio based on beats and bars. You can actually nudge your clips by using the plus and minus keys on the 10 key pad, not on the QWERTY keys, on the 10 key pad. So if you make a selection and make sure you've got your nudge value set appropriately, in this case it's going to move it by a quarter note, then you can nudge back by hitting the minus key, and forward by moving the plus key. Remember, these are both on the 10 key pad. You can also change these nudge values to different notes. So now we're going to move by eighth notes. I'm hitting the 10 key pad plus key, and I'm moving now by eighth notes forward and back using the plus and minus keys. You can also use the nudge function to move a particular selection. So if you have a selection like this, and you use the plus or minus keys on the 10 key pad, you can see it's moving the selection without moving the actual audio. So you can also use this to move a selection as well as moving an entire audio clip. If your selection encompasses more than one audio clip, for example, if I select both of these audio clips and then I decide to nudge them, I can nudge them using the plus and minus keys. But if I want to nudge just the selection, I could do that as well by using the Shift key. Holding down Shift key at the same time I am using the plus and minus keys. So this will reposition my selection when I have one or more audio clips selected. So that's nudging both selections and audio clips.